What kind of father do you want to be? What do you want to pass on to your kids? Hi, I'm Jerry Rio, the creator and founder of Relational Life Training for therapists and coaches and the general public about how to live a truly relational life on this planet. And I want to talk to you today about what's probably the most important work, at least as I see it, that you will do in your lifetime. I want to talk to you about changing the legacy that you pass on to the next generation. You know, I'm an American, and in America, there's a common phrase, the American dream. And what is living the American dream? It means having your children have access to a better life than you had growing up and beyond. And mostly when we think about that in material terms. But as a relational therapist, I think about it psychologically. I want my children to have a better psychological world than the world their mom and dad grew up in. They say the height of pretension to quote yourself, but I often do on this one. I've written 4 books, and far and away, my most famous quote is this one: family pathology. Rolls from generation to generation like a fire in the woods, taking down everything in its path until one person in one generation has the courage to turn and face the flames. That person brings peace to their ancestors and spares to children that follow. I often do media, podcasts, radio, whatever. And at some point it comes up, my own struggles, as I detailed in my first book, I don't want to talk about it, my own struggles with depression, my own struggles with my violent father. And at the end of the podcast or radio show, I will often say some version of this: I am the son of a depressed, violent man. He was the son of a depressed, violent man. I have 2 boys, 34, 36, 2 robust young men, and they don't say that. And neither will their children. And that is the greatest work of my life. As a relational therapist, I'll sometimes sit with someone, often a guy, and they know, I'm not going to do all this therapy stuff for themselves. They may not even want to do it for their partners, but they will do it to spare their children. What kind of man was your father? What kind of father do you want to be? What do you want to pass on to your kids? Will you let me help you? It's no small matter to transform a legacy. Giving to your children and the next generation, you don't have to have biological children. It could be your mentees. It could be giving to the world a legacy of compassion, connection, relationality, instead of a legacy of self-protection, dominance, being right. That is blessed work. That heals your own soul, heals your family, spares your kids, and is your little part of changing this whole damn planet. It's difficult. The way you change the legacy is by your own recovery. And when I say recovery, I mean relational recovery, recovering that state of authentic connection that is our birthright. I'm not just talking about addictions recovery, although that may be a part of it for some of us. People say to me, what should I do for my kids? What should I give them to my kids? The best thing you can do for your kids is heal yourself. The best gift you can give your kids is your own trauma work, your own maturity growth, your own healing. You feel your feelings. Turn and face the flames. Let yourself encounter that little boy or little girl that was you and all that those little people were contending with. You turn and face them, and don't pass them on to your partners and your children to do the work that you're not. In my 30s, I brought my parents into family therapy with me. It was amazing that they came. And blessings, my dad, who never confronted anything or said he was sorry for anything, acknowledged his rage and what it meant and cried like a baby. And he said, I never thought about these things until you started probing, Terry. Look at me, I'm crying. And I look back at the tape, it was taped, and I see 34-year-old Terry. And he leans into his dad and says, "You cry, old man. Every tear you cry is a tear I don't have to." John Bradshaw used to say, "Pass it back or pass it on. If you don't do the work, I'll be talking to your kids. They'll do the work." It goes from generation to generation until someone stops the momentum by doing their work. I would like that someone to be you. Not alone, with support, 12-step, peer groups, good therapy that helps. Turn and face the pain. Turn and face the wounds. Learn about the ways that you adapted as a kid that suited you perfectly back then, but may be getting in the way of your current relationship. Master these things, or they will master you. Pass it back or pass it on. There's an old alchemical saying, the laws of nature, and in this case, the laws of nature are your impulses, your automatic responses, the things you learned to do as a kid that you repeat now as an adult, even when you could do better. The laws of nature are like a miller's wheel, and they will grind you to powder unless you learn to be the miller. You change the legacy. You don't pass on the neglect or coldness or violence or judgment or whatever it is on to the next generation by facing these issues and feelings yourself, not alone. Go to Al-Anon, get a therapy, go to a men's group, go to a women's group, have friends, but friends who support your relationality, not you as an individual. Learn, heal, grow, dare to do better. That was my father's wish to me before he died. He said to me, "May nothing in my past or yours hold you back from the fullest expression of your potential." Thanks, Dad. That's my wish for you. May nothing in your past or your family's past hold you back from the expression of your fullest potential. What is that potential? Creativity, success, happiness, love. People move quickly when we do relational work because they move into the jet stream of connection. And connection is what we are born for. Disconnection hurts, and the restoration of connection heals. Lean into it. Commit yourself to it. Learn about it. Have friends who support it, and get help. Daring to change the legacy. Giving to the next generation skills, vision, hope, love that goes beyond what you had. To me, that's the most heroic work a human being can engage in. You want to settle the Middle East? You want to end the war in Ukraine? Great. Start by ending the war in your living room and in your skull. Bring peace to your families, your long-term relationships, and your heart. I wish you well on your journey. If this has been helpful, there's plenty more. Just hit the button to subscribe to this channel. Be well.